People are going to want stripped back. People are going to want minimalistic. People are going to want real over performative because we're tired. We're done. It hasn't worked for us. In anything, it's made us keep this pace and momentum, which actually isn't sustainable. And so Justin Bieber, along with many others right now, are going, why are we doing this? How did we get here? Why did we sign up for this? Or did we just fall into it without even realizing? And so I don't think Justin Bieber's performance was lazy. I don't think he underperformed. I don't think he couldn't be bothered to show up and do a great job. I think what he has done is rewritten what the definition of success can look like. Hello, welcome back to another episode. I'm excited to talk to you about something that's hot topic in the media and that has been everywhere on socials, and that is the Justin Bieber Coachella performance. Now, I'll admit, growing up, I wasn't a huge Justin Bieber fan, but to be honest, I think that's because I'm a little bit too old for when Bieber fever was around. I actually grew up at a time when I was about 12 or 13 where the band Hanson were it. Now, if you don't know Hanson, they were three boys from Tulsa, Oklahoma in America, and they sung that song Mbop. You probably know what I'm talking about now. But I was obsessed with them. My bedroom as a teenager, floors and ceiling, every bit of wall was covered in a Hanson poster. So I think that puts me out of the demographic just a little bit for Bieber fever. However, after watching that Coachella performance, I'm not going to lie, it got me. Now, it's not just the performance of Justin Bieber himself that stood out. But if you paid attention online, there was a little bit of controversy around it. Being a headliner at Coachella is a major, major thing to do. It's what everyone goes for, and Coachella would be one of the, if not the biggest music festival event that we have annually around the globe. Now, I'm a big music festival person. I love music festivals. One day I'd love to go to Coachella. I'd love to go to other festivals that exist around the globe and internationally, all of those different events where we bring people together and you get to see these acts that you might not see anywhere else, especially living in Australia. Coachella's one of them. Now, that performance at Coachella with Justin Bieber headlining came with some conditions that we've now learnt about alongside a huge paycheck, which I think was reported at $10 million for that performance. And good on him. Absolutely. Why should he not have that? But there were mixed reviews and a bit of backlash and some perceptions from people around that performance. Now, since then, Justin Bieber has come out and made a few comments himself. But let's unpack what happened. Now, if you're one of these people that somehow missed it and didn't see the performance and you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not really sure where you've been hiding. But I don't think there is a person who is on any online platform that hasn't come across something about Justin Bieber and this Coachella performance. Because when you think of these music festivals and music celebrities taking the headliner, whether it's at Tomorrowland, whether it is Coachella, whether it's somewhere else, you expect these big, grand shows with fireworks, with dancers, with performers, with lighting, with sound. And Justin Bieber did the complete opposite. He walked out on stage in his casual clothes. He had a few cameo appearances, but it was really just them. There was nothing whiz-bang fancy about it. And he had his laptop. He plugged it into his YouTube account and he started watching old videos and performances of himself where he was singing along and narrating what was going on. When I saw this, I had my own views and thoughts, which I'll share in a minute. But from the media and what we've seen online, they've been very mixed. Some people are saying this actually wasn't acceptable. He should have delivered more. For that amount of money, he should have put on a really big show. It was disappointing. People didn't feel like they got the worth of their ticket. And then on the other hand, there are a group of people saying that that was incredible. That was one of the best things they've ever seen. That it was amazing to actually watch Justin Bieber as himself after everything he's gone through and come back as a version that's totally him and that isn't about performing to someone else's expectation. Now, if you've seen Justin Bieber himself talk about it, he's very open and honest in saying he didn't set out to disappoint people. He didn't want people to feel like they've been taken advantage of. He acknowledges that. But what he was trying to do was something different. And it was connect. It was show up as himself. It was about being the human that he is and not being stuck inside a version of performance that everyone else says he should strive for, that he should do, that he should present himself in this way, because he's been doing this since a teenager. And if you know anything about Bieber, what you'll know is that over the last couple of years, whilst he's had a child as well, he's gone through some real struggles. And now he's focusing on his mental health and his wellness and making sure he has the right people around him to really stay well and look after himself first. And this was actually one of the conditions apparently around his Coachella performance, that he was allowed to bring his team of mental health and wellness experts with him, because that's what he values right now as he's looking to make a comeback, but also honor the person that he is. And so when we unpack this performance, there's something I think that's been missed that's worth talking about when we think about rethinking success. Because Justin Bieber didn't show up and do a performance that was aligned to the traditional version of what a successful entertainer and performer looks like, especially as someone who's of that like boy pop era, where we expect him to have choreographed dances with backup dancers, with elaborate stage shows. He stripped it back to himself. And it seems like he was intentional in that because he just wanted to be authentic and connect with his audience. He didn't want to step into that 15-year-old curated version of Bieber Fever Justin that the world knew, because it's not really who he is, and it's certainly not who he is now. And when we think about that and what actually happened, I'm convinced that what Justin Bieber was doing was actually setting the path and showing us a completely new version for success. The new way we can define success, the new way we can look at it, that's not about performing. That's not about holding these crazy expectations and standards. That's not about what meeting someone else expects. It's about coming back to what matters here: connection, the humanness, the realness, the rawness, the authenticity of where I'm at right now. Because for too long, what we've known Justin Bieber to be has been a curated version of what everyone else has told him: how he needs to look, how he needs to perform, how he needs to dress, how he needs to talk, how he needs to behave on stage. That wasn't his to own. And what we saw was a crumbling of his identity because he was never allowed to be himself. Coachella, that was about a comeback. And it wasn't actually about bigger and better. It was about stepping into a version of himself that he's never been allowed to be. And I think as we move more towards a society that values people and human connection, when we rethink work life, when we rethink what success actually is, we're going to find this. People are going to want stripped back. People are going to want minimalistic. People are going to want real over performative, because we're tired. We're done. It hasn't worked for us. In anything, it's made us keep this pace and momentum, which actually isn't sustainable. And so Justin Bieber, along with many others right now, are going, why are we doing this? How did we get here? Why did we sign up for this? Or did we just fall into it without even realizing? And so I don't think Justin Bieber's performance was lazy. I don't think he underperformed. I don't think he couldn't be bothered to show up and do a great job. I think what he has done is rewritten what the definition of success can look like and shown us that connection is more important than performance. And if you think about what that means for us, because let's be real, we're not all Biebers headlining Coachella, as nice as that might be, or it might be your goal. What it means for us is actually it's okay to show up as who you are. You don't have to appease everyone. And when you show up as you are, you're allowing those around you to take you on for that inner version of you that perhaps you haven't been showing up as. And when we do that, what actually happens is deeper belonging. Because belonging is about being ourselves, no matter where we are, no matter who we're with, and knowing it's safe to do so. And if we don't do that, then in the connections we have and in the circles we operate, what we're actually doing is performing and masking, and that's exhausting. It leads us down a path that isn't always healthy, that isn't always good for us. But to achieve true belonging, you have to be brave enough to put yourself out there in the first place. And to do that, you need to let go of the expectations you think everyone else has on you. Because what I'm going to end with is sharing this. We all had expectations of how Bieber was going to show up on that Coachella stage and what we thought that performance was going to look like. Although if you took a hint from the Grammys, you probably could have guessed what was going to happen. But many of us still held this idea that it was going to be a grand and extravagant performance. And when he walked out on that stage with his laptop, in his casual gear, just himself, no extravaganza, the people that were disappointed were the ones that were connecting over a performance that wasn't his. And the ones that stayed and valued it and got it and thought this is worth it were the ones that would actually allowing him to find true belonging in those connections. And the only way to do that is to rethink what success looks like to you and to show up in those circles that you're in as yourself and know that those people that show up and meet you there are the ones that were meant to find you all along. And so that's why I don't think this Coachella performance was lazy. And I don't think it was about not bothering. And I don't even think it was intentionally minimalistic. I actually think it was like, this is who I am, guys. And if you like me enough, you're going to meet me here. And for all of those people that didn't get it, it's just not your space anymore. And that's okay. But the world is going to evolve and shift. And Justin Bieber may have just given many of us permission to rethink what it looks like. And I don't know about you, but as a 40-year-old, I'm not going to be shy about saying it definitely hit me with some Bieber fever. All right, lovely people, as always, let me know what you think. Like, comment, share. Actually, a few people have got in touch about the new launch of the podcast, and it's so wonderful to hear. So if this is you, please like, tag, share, do all the things, and I'll see you somewhere soon. Have a great day, evening, night, whatever time of day it is for you. Bye.